Hey everybody, so today I want to talk about a manifestation success story that I had. It was about manifesting a rental property I could easily afford and still save enough money to feel very comfortable with my financial standing. So I set an intention to have a little home near the water because I really enjoy being by the water. And after practicing manifestation for a couple of, I guess I would say, for a solid couple of months now, on and off, but like not really getting distracted by anything else, just focusing on what it is I really want in my life. I really zeroed in on this one particular manifestation. So I set an intention to only pay $1,200 in one of the most expensive states to afford a rental property. And in my location, I mean, there's rentals that go anywhere between 2.7 thousand to 22.2 thousand to 2.4 to 3.5K. Like, it's very hard to find something under $1,700 that's actually nice. Like something that is broken and like falling apart typically is found for like 1,600. So it's like, it's insane for me to think like, no, I don't want to live in somewhere broken down. I want to live in somewhere beautiful and something that accommodates my like capacity just to exist. Like, I want to feel comfortable, you know what I mean? So I set an intention and I was like, no, I don't want to have an apartment where I'm attached to other people. I just want to manifest the perfect little tiny home that's by the water. So in the summertime, I can go to the lake and hang out and just feel close to nature, right? So I just kept going like outside. Anytime I felt a breeze, I would kind of close my eyes and just envision that I was sitting in front of the water. I had an idea as to where I wanted to be, but I really wasn't picky. I just honestly wanted to see how this would work out. So I was closing my eyes, picturing something, and I was like, I just want a tiny home for 1,200. Like, I just want a tiny home for 1,200. I'm there, and I would picture myself like sitting on the balcony. And sure enough, there was a couple of houses that did pop up. There was two that popped up with a balcony. One was in a different town, not near the water, but another one was much closer to me on a lake not too far away. Not the one that I wanted, but it still popped up. So I was kind of interested in that. That was for $1,600. And I'm like, okay, well, let me really dial this in. If that's coming up, it's showing that my subconscious is mirroring back to me. So I kept setting the intention, and I was like, no, I have a tiny home for $1,200. And I did this for about 3 days. And I remember I went to a park and I sat on a bench and again closed my eyes and felt the breeze and imagined myself being there for like, I don't know, maybe like 10 minutes, on and off, just like enjoying and being appreciative that I was just able to be there. You know what I mean? Like, living in a state of gratitude implies that you feel abundant, regardless of what you have or don't have. So gratitude works very well because if you're grateful, it applies that you have a lot, which in return will give you a lot. So I was, just in that state. And then sure enough, I noticed when I set an intention, I checked a property website I hadn't known about. It was called Compass or something, right? Compass.com. And I was referred to that website by somebody I met by chance. And so I go to that website to look at listings. And the day I set the intention for a tiny home is the day this listing popped up. But I didn't know until 3 days later. And I noticed they had an open house the day I set the intention at like 5:30, which is after work, which is when I could have gone. Okay? So it's like very eerie to see how this popped up magically. It was a tiny home, no balcony, but close to the water. Wasn't for 1,200, but it was for 1,500. It had all new appliances. It was small, and it's not a mansion, but it was more than enough for me. And I was kind of blown away by the timely nature of it. So I'll show you a picture of it, the layout, everything, so you can get a feel of what I'm talking about. So again, not something luxurious, but something I definitely created because I set the intention for. The lot size is 2,613 square feet. It was built in 1926, and yeah, it went available as soon as I set the intention. So when I looked at that and noticed my tracking back and seeing the data, somebody by chance I met saying, hey, go to compass.com, check that out, you might have better luck. That gave me hope or faith, and because I had faith, which means conviction, it plants the seed saying, hey, this is gonna work this time, right? It's subconscious, it's very subtle, but when you can witness that and remember what you're doing, you stop wavering as much, right? I created this very quickly because I've been practicing for a little bit now, and I'm going to do my best to keep practicing, to keep getting the things that I want to experience, because I want to be a living example of what I teach through scripture. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.